we'll go ahead and get started here. And really, this is something that's been done by various people. It's not new, but it's the first time I've done it on this training. And I had in the heading there, rank advancement and rank stabilization, because really a SIA's pay plan promotes advancement, but more importantly, it does promote stability at rank and bronze and above. So when you're 300 and 700, you're rewarded with extra fast starts when you bring new people in. The advancement is rewarded because of that, but also maintaining at those levels is rewarded, because if you don't maintain the levels week by week, then you don't get those extra fast starts. And a similar thing happens at the executive ranks when you go into bronze and above with the executive momentum pools, which won't really kick in until you achieve bronze or above rank twice in a row. Bottom line is stability at rank, and you can't take rank to the bank. So stability is what's important. And let's take a quick look at that, what stability can mean for a solid Director 300. And by solid, that means someone achieving the rank of Director 300 pretty much every week in a month, 4 weeks in a month, earning on the order of $500 a month, a nice part-time income as a solid Director 300. And just briefly, a lot of that will come from, say, a director mentor bonus as you're starting out new people. The biggest portion at this point would come from fast start payouts as people are joining the group, and then a portion from the binary, the team commissions. And let's just take a quick look at what that would look like at the bronze level. Again, a solid bronze, a person who's bronze every week of the month. And you can see how the pieces of the pie split up. You keep that same customer bonuses and mentor bonuses. And the fast starts pretty much stay the same. Of course, the binary is going to go higher, and you start getting now the check match and the executive momentum, which again will benefit people who are stable at a rank, which you would be if you're solid bronze. So if we're not at those ranks yet and wanting to get a nice stable rank to get a stable income part-time, the question is, how do you do that? So that's what this presentation really focuses on. It's going to show how to get where you want to go, basically. So let's say a person, this person is going for, say, solid Director 700 and on to bronze. So this is a dashboard, a view of their dashboard. And let me just go through some of the important elements we're going to be looking at. In particular, you can see down here, this is, of course, their back office now, where they sign into their back office and click on the dashboard tab. So once you're in the dashboard, you can look at your lifetime rank and your paid rank. So this person had achieved Director 700, but they're going up and down, well, pretty much up and down from Director 300 to 700. So for this person, the next goal would be to be a solid Director 700. And the question is, what would it take as far as numbers to be a solid Director 700? Yeah, so let's just explain the dashboard a little bit more. At the top of the dashboard is the timeline. So it's going basically back 5 weeks, this dashboard illustration, this dashboard table. Here's the current week. I think you guys can see my mouse moving. And it goes back 5 weeks. So we're really going to be focusing on the left and right total. And let's just give an example of how this works. So 4 weeks ago, or is that 5 weeks ago, a person had a left total of 700. And their right total, you can see right here, is 2515. And the total is including any volume that gets carried over that might be banked volume. And the distinction is these left volumes and right volumes here. Left volume and right volume are the actual volumes that happen during that week. The totals include any carryover or bank volumes. And of course, PV means personal volume. So the personal volume is what you personally order. In this case, the person ordered a case probably on auto ship here, and it's going to repeat the same week of the month next month. So now, so I should have done that a little bit at the beginning for people who are new to the dashboard. We're really going to be looking at just these top five columns here initially. So look at this one here. Here we have 5 weeks ago, the person had 700 in their left total, which essentially is their lesser leg. It's 700 is less than the 2515. And that is why they got paid. They had a paid rank of Director 700 for that week. So let's move to the next week. You can see the lesser leg for the next week was 1075. Again, that's Director 700 volume. It's at least 700 in their lesser leg. So they got paid as Director 700. Let's look at this next week. You can see the left total has dropped down to 425, and that's Director 300 level because they didn't reach the 700 for that week. I do have a training that talks about how these numbers change. I'm not going to get into that, where the banked volume is added into the current week's volume and actually how these numbers are calculated. And I'll show you that at the end of the presentation here, where that training is. It's dashboard details, I think I call it. So let's go ahead and move again here. So there we go to the next week, and the same sort of thing. They had 650 in their lesser leg, not quite 700. So therefore they achieved the rank of Director 300. So what we want to do now is we want to be a consistent Director 700 is the next step. So let's see what it'll take to do that. So the way we can do this is we're looking into the future. We want to be a solid Director 700 with 700 volumes every week of the month. And we want that to be based on auto ships so that every month those auto ships are coming in and we're solid, as opposed every week of the month even, as opposed to people signing up. So anybody that signs up for the current week would be like extra. It's like icing on the cake. We're going to be focused on auto ships. And the way we do that on the dashboard is we can look at projected auto ships over here on the right of the dashboard. And let me just explain that a little bit. We have the current week. So you can see this 319 to 325. That is equivalent to this here, 319 to 325, where you see my mouse moving. So that is the current week. Let's just assume that's the current week though. Okay, so I took this picture apparently on Tuesday of last week because you can see the auto ships for Saturday, Sunday, Monday have shipped, and there's more auto ships that are due the remaining week. Bottom line is there's 775 is the projected auto ship for what it would be the current week. So therefore, that goal of 700 is met. Now, the other thing I'm going to look at is the week numbers. And sorry, this all kind of gets thrown together. It can be confusing, especially for people who are new. So you might have to go through this a few times to really wrap your head around it. But a second thing we got going is, I'm just going to throw this out, is week numbers. And I'll show you later where the week numbers come from. But in this case, that current week, as defined 319 to 325, is week number 12. And you can see these weeks go backwards in time. Not that that really matters. And in the projected auto ship, though, the weeks are going forward in time. So here is the next week, week 13. Here's week 14. Here's week 15. And what we're going to be looking at in particular is the left leg, because remember, I didn't mention this, but look, you see the right leg has banked volume. So we're always meeting that minimum of 700 on the right leg. This is the right total, including bank volume. And also you can see the right leg on a weekly basis. The right leg is having definitely over 700 volume every week. So we're going to be focusing in this case on the left leg. So here is left on the projected authorship, and here is right. So here again is that left leg. So like I said, week 12 we've met the 700. Week 13, the projected is actually met again. The week that's not met is the week 14, the third week. Well, it's actually the first week of the month, and you can see this. So let's just move on here. I'm just showing you where we can project that solid director 700, and I'm going to tie this all together as we go. So the week in this case, it's lacking to be solid director 700 every week of the month is this week 14, which is like the first week of the month. Every month it's going to be a week month, because this all is based on when people's autoships ship out. Remember, autoships ship it once a month, and it basically is a function of how those people's autoships are distributed through the weeks. So bottom line is, to be a solid director 700, we need more people in essentially this week 14, which is coming up now. It's 2 weeks in the future. So we need to be working and have people in our inviting mode, and with the objective of hopefully that they close on the week 14, which is 2 weeks in the future. So here's what we're talking about. 700 volume wanted. We have 100 volume. That means we need 600 volume to get to that 700 level. That means the equivalent of 6 people need to be sponsored during that week and be on one case of autoship at least. And then the next time around, that low week is going to be filled in, and it's going to be director 700. So I hope that kind of makes sense. It can be confusing. And again, for people who are brand new, we like to say that if you're out there doing the effort, that the pay plan works. You don't have to understand all this detail. But for people that do like detail and like numbers and projections and what they need to do to make it happen, this is a training for them. So pretty much solid director 700 is done for that person. But the question is, what does it need? What's needed for a solid bronze, which is the next step up? And that's not going to just happen right away. That's going to take more time to fill out. So let's set a goal for 2 months in the future that this person wants to be solid bronze. The solid director 700 is pretty much going to happen within the next month. They can make that happen right away, but bronze is going to take longer to fill out. So, and I'm going to have some forms later that show you how this all works, but for now, we're just going to go through these numbers again. So let's just assume we wanted to have bronze each week of the month. Bronze, you need 2,000 minimum volume in your lesser leg, plus you need the 2 director 300 legs. But at this point, we're not going to look at the director 300s. We're just focusing on the dashboard volumes. So let's take a look at what this would happen here now. So we have currently we have 175 volume in this week. Now we're redoing it. We're starting from scratch again, and we're pretending we were in actually last week, which was week 12. So 175 and then 775 is still due to ship at that point when I took this snapshot. So to achieve 2,000 volume, we take away the volume we already have in the bag, essentially, that 175 plus 775 projected for the rest of the week. And that means we need another 1150 volume to make 2,000. That's the equivalent of about 11 people signed up. And I'm going to show you later, but that's not 11 people that you sign up. It's 11 people in your group on the whole left leg in your group. So 11 more people getting auto ship during that week of the month will make it happen. So you can see it's group enrollments. It's not just you personally sponsoring 11 people. It's your whole group. So this doesn't happen, a nice solid bronze doesn't just happen overnight. It takes time to develop. And a good solid bronze is going to have a decent number of people in their organization. They're talking 140 people at this point are in the group. This is a total downline left and right. So to be a good solid bronze, you're talking about 200 people, because it's not just bronze for 1 week. We're talking solid bronze every week of the month. Okay, so that said, let's move on here. So let's take a look at the other leg. So the other leg for bronze now, we have to look at the other leg for bronze. You can see the projected auto-ship is 1675, and the actual amount due that's already there on the right leg is 325 for that week. So basically, 325 plus 1675 is over 2,000 is going to happen in that right leg for that week. It's in the bag. So basically, the right leg is good. So let's continue on through these future weeks. So here we're looking at the left leg. Now we don't have to add in, we're not adding in, of course, the current week. We're just looking at the projected auto ships for the following week, for like next week. So next week we had projected auto ship of 800 on the left, and we want 2,000. So that's a difference of 1,200 volume. So that's equivalent to about 12 new people on the left leg we need for that week. And same sort of thing for the right leg, 9 new people. So let's kind of roll through these because it's all pretty much the same. So for this next week, there's only 100 projected. So we need 1,900. That's essentially a lot of new people for that week. So 19 new people in the whole group will make us there. And on the right leg, it's all good. So focus would be on the left leg. And equivalent, same sort of thing on the next week. You can see 9 new people needed on the left side, and the right leg is good. So how does this all fit together? How can you make this fit together? Let's take a look at a chart that'll help this. And you can do your own chart however you want. But let's look at, say, bronze. And we want bronze to happen, whatever, 3 months in the future, 2 months in the future. You just pick your goal, of course. And up front, these are the numbers taken directly from what I went through previously. We have a goal of this week number 12, which is the current week, of having 11 new people. Let me just go back to that 1 second. So there. So what we determined on this chart is that we would need 11 new people for this left leg to be a bronze for this current week, week 12, which is like the last week of the month, essentially. All right, so let me go back now to that chart. And that's where this number 11 came from. We just filled it in from that chart. And these other numbers come from that chart. So left, right. Remember that 1 week that we needed people on the right side? Here they are. Okay, so what this means is over the next 3 months, we want to have 11 people in our group added in. And you could put in some numbers here. Let me go ahead and do it. So let's just say we end up having this first month, we end up getting three people. You can fill them in. So 3 people happened here. That means next month we'll need whatever it is. There are 8. So the next month the goal is say 8, and say you get whatever. Say you get 4. So you need 4. That leaves the goal of the next month to be 4. And yippee-yi-yo, we got 4. And you get a star. I could draw a star. Not too good of a star. For reaching your goal. And again, I repeat myself, that's number of people in the total group enrollments. So you're working with your people, helping them to sponsor people. You're getting mentoring bonuses because of that. You're helping your people become directors and Director 300s. So it's all synergistic in that regards. It's a team effort to reach these goals. So I can do that again, but the math is pretty straightforward. Let's just take a look at this right leg. Say in this 1 week we needed right leg of 9, and say, you can do the same sort of thing. Say we get 1, that means we need 8. That was wrong. I'm talking the right leg, sorry. 8, 2, 6. And then on the right leg, say we don't make the goal. Say we needed a 6, but we only got 3. So that means we didn't quite meet the goal. We need 3 more. So bottom line is, this is a very simple form. It can be done however you want. It projects numbers in order to fill out to reach those goals. Let me show you where this calendar week thing comes in. You can download this from the back office. It's kind of small, but in the back office library, I mentioned week 12 was the current week. So you can see the week numbers are defined here. So you go to the back office, go to My Tools, I think, and go to Library, and it's Auto Ship Calendar, I think they call it, in there. And you should print this out. And it gives you the week numbers, and these week numbers are also shown in the way we get paid in the back office. It shows these week numbers. So here's week 13, week 14, 15 in the future. Now I will mention, when I'm simplifying things when I put things into a week, because not every week breaks the same. Some weeks have 5 weeks. So what we just went through is kind of a simplified version, but the bottom line is, the more people you sponsor through all these weeks, the more things even out, and the bigger your group gets, and the more solid you are at your rank. I hope that kind of makes sense, because the weeks, when I said that week 12 was the last week of the month, it doesn't always break exactly the same. You might have a person who has an auto ship on the 24th, and the 24th is actually a 5th week of the month the next week. So most of the time it's a 4th week. In any case, I don't want to get too complicated. Bottom line is that the principle is there. And let's end it here. And the basic building block then of what we're talking about, of course, is sponsoring people. And the way our pay plan is designed is, the basic building block is really being director, sponsoring left and right, and preferably within the 14 days to get the director bonus when you're new. And as you duplicate this, you're going to be building up those weeks like we showed. And as you build up those weeks and duplicate that, you're going to be getting mentor bonuses. You're going to be getting solid Director 300s, solid Director 700s and bronzes. So it kind of all boils down to the idea of course, sponsoring, bringing people in, introducing them to ASEA, and helping them to make their decision to join so they can tell other people about ASEA. So hopefully it wasn't too confusing. So if you're a person that numbers kind of blows your mind, just don't worry about it all. And the principle of introducing and inviting people to learn about ASEA. That's really what makes it all happen. Some people really like numbers and want to have goals, but sometimes goals, I mean, they can be disappointing too if you don't meet the goal. So it's a two-way street. So, yeah, Rebecca, you wanted to say something?
I think it's great because when you just look at the dashboard on itself, it doesn't explain itself, but that enabled us to get the connections.
Yeah, and it is good sometimes to have, I mean, it is good to have numbers in the future that you want to shoot for. And again, it's not all under your control because unless you're going to go out and sponsor 11 people, it's a group effort. But the point is when you have focused intention, things happen. I think that's really the main thing. So good.
Yeah, just you explaining that 11 people enrolled doesn't necessarily have to be me enrolling them was a big help. It can come from the group below me.
Yeah. And that's the whole point. As your group gets bigger, things just fill in anyway. Oh, that's one thing I wanted to show people real quick. I mentioned about details on understanding, if you really want to get complicated, understanding where all the numbers come from. In the, you can go to A-Team Support, to other resources, click on Getting Started. And this is where I archive these trainings. I'll archive this training here. It'll be called Dashboard Diagnostics. But here's the one I was talking about, Dashboard Detail. So if you really like numbers and you want to understand where all the numbers come from, that one gives you a little bit of an idea. I'm not even going to put that in the Saturday training because it's way more complicated than a normal person wants. But for the people that do like numbers, there you go. Well, thanks all for attending. If there's no further questions, we'll go ahead and wrap her up and enjoy the weekend.